Okay, so for the pop-up, I'm going to be using mixed media, Canson paper. It should be about 260G. Should be perfect for doing pop-ups. Just folding this piece out and pull it out real quick. Pieces. Just gonna do a real quick mock-up, small mock-up. See what happens. See if we can get the results that we want. So, load this up real quick. So here we have our base. Base is already made. This one's a 160 proof. 160G paper that I'm using. This one is a little bit lighter, and I usually use it as disposable paper anyway, in artwork paper. But you get what I mean. For the most part, it's for when I'm doing mock-up, so I can save my mock-up, and I know it's not going to just fall apart the next day type of mock-up. So now I have my piece that I want to try doing. So the idea is wherever the arrow goes is where it's going to fold back. So I'm going to fold here. Has to be even on both sides. So here, right. Now, see, the thing about this is that all this underneath is going to have to be colored. So wherever I choose to put this, I gotta understand that this in general spot is going to be covered up enough that you might not be able to see underneath it when you open the book. So that's what I meant by a lot of it's just going to be wasted. So that sucks. But at the same time, the 3D effect that I want is worth it. So I'm gonna go, give me 1 second. I gotta look up this picture of what I'm going to be using as a base for an idea of what I want to do for this piece. It looks like I have kind of like a clouds going on, so I wanted to kind of like a cloud thing, and then should have tabs. So what we'll do is we'll cut it off right around here. Right, and then cut this as well. So basically, I cut this open, cut that down, and then I want to see how it's gonna work. So remember, whichever way the arrow faces is the way it's gonna go. My goal right now is just to find out how it's gonna look when it pops up. Let's try this again. Didn't put it close enough to the center. So when you lay these, you gotta have it so that the center is where the point is. And then when you close it, opens up. The piece should be sitting right here. So this is going to be clouds, and then I gotta put clouds on the side, and I think that should work. So take this idea, and I'm using double stick tape because I know the double stick tape is going to come off. Let me put this right here. Lay it down natural. Close this, get the tape to attach through this way, and then when I open up, you see where it's going to be. So take this piece right here, right? What I'm doing now is just cutting paper out. Before I forget, I want it to be kind of like here. Yeah, so right now all I'm doing is just cutting it out. I'm trying to figure out what I want to be cut out, what I don't want to be cut out. Excuse me. Because I don't want to cut all of it out, because I want the background to appear behind it. So like when I go back in the color, I'm going to put the color all over here. I don't really need this to be cut off, and this could be cut off. This is going to lay over the top. Please keep in mind it's those fine details that make this a really cool piece. Okay, so I want to crisp this out real quick. I'm going to flip it the other way. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, I'm going to lay the tape on the edge, grab another piece. That's not sticking out. And remember, I'm using the double stick tape only because it's temporary. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm going to make it official yet, so I'm not using the glue just yet. See how this looks. See what happens. Now, as you can see, it looks like it's facing that way. So, although it looks good when you're over the top, it's not quite what I want it to be. So, here. Bring it lower. So, back down. Oh, it wasn't center. Okay. So it has to be in the center. If it's not in the center, then it's not going to work, which means that I may have to move the piece up higher. Because this is too much. So maybe if I change the amount of angle, that it has, and bring it down a little bit more. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, that's a lot better. And I can cut some of it off. So it's aligned straight and it pops up. So when you look at it, it'll look like it's, you know, protruding from the actual piece. And when I throw the clouds underneath, it should blend in here as well. But I'm thinking I may also get rid of some stuff. Does it look too high? Maybe I should dial it back a little bit. I mean, from above it looks fine. I don't see anything wrong with it from here. But when I look down underneath it, I see there's a lot of space down here that's not being used. And maybe I should install some pieces down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some smaller pieces to go down into that gully down there. They're going to be really small. So fold this a few times. Fold this one. Like this one. Fold it this way. Cut it in half. And then what I want to do is make it so that they're roughly about the same height as this one. So I want to say this much needs to be folded away. See the same thing over here. Uh-oh, I may have made these way too large. So yeah, I did. Okay, so I don't need nearly this much paper. So, because see, at a right angle, it's about yay high. So so well, that might work, but it's still too high, so cut this in half. Grab my tape. Place it in the collie, and tape in there. Press down on it, open it back up. Yep, see, now I have where I can put my clouds coming out this way as well. So there's one. Fold this one in half. Place tape on it. Close it, press, open it back up. Now I have my second one. So when I go back in and I create my clouds, they're going to sit on those little spots right there, and they're going to jettison out from underneath. This is why they say you gotta put tape all the way up to it, but in general, that's kind of how the piece is gonna be. It's kind of how it's gonna look. So these will stick out from here, and then I'm gonna have pieces of clouds underneath here to create a second layer, and then they'll float underneath. So they'll float right here, and then there'll be that, and I'll create it so that it kind of floats around the belt buckle. So that's how the pop-up's going to be. I know, right? You're like, Aaron, that's so simple. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, you can see I was hanging out the bottom, trying to debate on whether or not I should cut that. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like when I'm done. So we can go ahead and take these off. I've already marked where I'm gonna put it back on, so it should be safe enough to take off. Now I'm going to put it on here. So, as you can see, there's our piece. When we close it, closes completely. When we open it, it's a little iffy on opening right now, but that's only because I haven't glued it correctly it should open all the way up every time to about this position. So I will fix that when I go and glue it. But right now, make sure I get these marked in. This is where it's gonna go. Whew, man, that was a lot. Okay, so this goes with this, because this is what I'm going to use to cut the clouds off and put them behind it. We have this. Which is pretty much the oh, no, it's not. Grabbing some watercolors real quick. Clean the pen. So for this one, I'm trying to decide on what green I want to go with. Because I really like this dark green. And I'm thinking the dark green will be the outside hoodie, and then this will be a light one. And this one will be the dark one again. Remember, I'm using watercolors for this, so we're going to find out how it blends over the top of it. This will also help me with the Starboy piece, because I'm also going to take the watercolor and I'm going to go right over the top with it. So this should shed some light on how well it's going to blend in, if it's going to blend in at all. Let me grab some water. Where's my water bottle? There you are. This one hasn't been opened. Got my water dish. It's just going to be green, so I'm not too worried about it. This must be my glue brush. Excuse me. Sorry. It's really... Yeah, that's my glue brush. Okay, so I completely ruined that brush. Let's grab this one. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Nice greenish tint. When I go back and outline it, it'll give me a nice, precise look to it. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this cape. Go back up here and I'm going to add a little bit more green. So now I got that done. I'm gonna go back in with just color. I'm gonna kind of